Hi, welcome to this video. Let's see the 3D surfaces and the mesh objects in AutoCAD 2015. Leave us comments to give us feedback. The commands we will see are quite advanced. You may need practice to get all right on your own. Surfaces are 3D objects that represent 2D shapes. These are very different than normal 2D objects that you can create through the Home section. Some of the 3D commands, in fact, do act on surfaces, but not on 2D objects, neither if these do have a filling. So mind to use surfaces to create 2D objects in 3 dimensions. All commands are inside surfaces in the 3D Tools section. The simplest surfaces are the planar ones. If you enable planar and click and drag on your workspace, you will create a rectangular surface. You can also create personalized ones. Firstly, draw with the polyline tool the contour you like, and then click on it with planar enabled. Mind that the old polyline contour does still exist after creating the surface. This contour and surface are associated. If the polyline is edited, the surface follows. This strong link is lost whenever you move the surface. That becomes independent. As you can see, even if you use a 2D wireframe view, the surface is indicated through a checked object, all in one piece. This is how it's represented any surface. Keep in mind that it's better that the contour and the surface always go together, since some commands do work with such contour and not with the surface itself. To group all of them, simply select them all, right-click and go to Group. In this way you will treat contour and surface always in the same way. If you want to know more about the groups, watch the related video in this show. Then the surface behaves like any 3D object. For example, if you use the system, press pull or the slice command, they work the same. Such planar command always fills the closed path completely. If you want to remove unwanted pieces from the surface, you must use the trim command. Enable it and first of all select the surface to cut from. Press Enter and then select the line or surface that meets it. When you press Enter, AutoCAD shows you where the first surface selected is being cut from the second object. You just have to choose which is the part you want to remove. Mind that any surface must have its contour included through groups, as seen before. If you don't do this, the command won't work properly. So do keep surface and contour together in groups. The offset command can create copies of your surface very fast. Just select the surface interested and define the direction using your up and down arrow keys in the dialog box and using flip direction or both sides. If you want to edit your surface along one of its sides, use the Extend command. It is sufficient to select one or more sides and then just drag. You can also create 3D solids starting from any surface as base. You can use extrude, press pull, or thicken commands for this. They basically work the same. Let's see now how to draw non-planar surfaces. These are surfaces that do not lay on a single plane, so you can't use the easier planar command. There are two main ways to do so. Draw them manually or using the mesh objects. When you want to draw manually, you always have to start from a basic 3D polyline with all its arch nodes. Then use explode command to obtain its single sides individually. You can now select the ones that form a planar surface to use the planar command, adding lines where necessary. You will obtain a non-planar surface. If arch sides are a problem, you can use the fillet command above. Select the surfaces that form the arch side and then regulate the radius curve, dragging the blue triangle. When all is OK, just accept with Enter. In case you have to do with non-planar surfaces with open edges, you can use the patch command to cover them properly. All you need is to define the contour of the edge to cover and then just press Enter. In case you want to put two surfaces in common, use the Blend command. Select the first surface edges, press Enter and go with the second one. Press Enter and check how to set the curvature. The small symbol next to the blue triangle reminds you the kind of curve you put, more harsh or smoother. Remember to use the group command in case you want to unify all pieces of surfaces into just one. Use this one instead of the union command. In this way you can always come back editing curves, for example the ones created with the Blend command. The second way to build surfaces is to use 3D and mesh objects. Let's see an example. You can use modeling section to draw a sphere. However, this is a filled sphere. In fact, if you slice it, it is cut inside too. You can transform it into a surface applying the explode command. This will become a sphere surface with nothing inside, as you can see after slicing. If you try with a cone, this will give you a surface and a region. You can convert this to a surface, exploding it first and using the planar command on it. The explode command can be used to reopen the contours from a surface if you lost them. Just apply explode twice on it. Then use the planar command to get the surface again. You can also use the mesh objects. A mesh object is an object that gives you more possibilities in editing and personalizing it. You can create mesh objects with different shapes, all listed inside the arrow next to modeling. All of them are composed by different subcomponents that you can select singularly, clicking on them while holding Ctrl down. You can also select every single vertex or edge on it. The principle of these mesh objects is to draw a 3D personalized solid faster and easier. You always start with an object that is not smooth at all. You can select any face, node or edge to move them using the system that appears. Depending on how you move these, the shape of the mesh does change. Faces selected show a red point on them, edges a red rectangle, and vertices a red point. Select the mesh. Smooth and convert mesh will appear on top. You can use the first one to check how the mesh is going on more in real. When your 3D personalized mesh is done, you can convert it to a solid, so a filled object or a surface, not filled inside, in Convert Mesh section. The object will be smooth by default. The mesh is a surface on its own. If you use the explode command on it, you can see it composed by 3D faces all around. You can also convert an existing object to a mesh one to edit it better. This may appear more smooth, but you can always retrieve harsh vertices using Smoothless on top. Thanks for watching this video. Check out this guide to learn more.